There's a reason you're here right now, and it has nothing to do with coincidence. While the world rushes past in chaos and noise, something made you pause. Something made you stop. That something was me. I've been speaking to you, but you haven't been listening. Not really. You hear the words during prayer, you read the verses, you say amen at the right moments. But there's a disconnect between what reaches your ears and what penetrates your heart. And that disconnect is costing you more than you realize. You've been walking in circles, haven't you? The same patterns repeating, the same struggles resurfacing, the same confusion clouding your vision every time you think you're finally getting somewhere. You keep asking me for direction, but when I give it, you second guess it. You ask for guidance, but when it comes, you debate it. You beg for clarity, but when it arrives, you question whether it's really my voice or just your own thoughts trying to comfort you. Let me be clear about something. I don't speak in riddles to confuse you. I don't hide my will to frustrate you. I don't give guidance wrapped in so much mystery that you need a doctorate in theology to understand it. When I speak, it's clear. When I direct, it's purposeful. When I guide, it's unmistakable. The problem isn't that my voice is unclear. The problem is that you've trained yourself not to trust it. You know that feeling you get sometimes, that gentle knowing deep in your spirit that tells you to wait, to move, to speak, to stay silent. That's me. You know that thought that crosses your mind that seems too simple, too obvious, too straightforward to be divine. That's also me. You've been expecting thunder and lightning, burning bushes and angelic visitations, when I've been speaking in the still, small voice that's been with you all along. 3 weeks ago, I told you something. You felt it clearly. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it was unmistakable. And you ignored it because it didn't make sense to your logical mind. You wanted confirmation, so you asked 3 more people for advice, searched for signs, waited for feelings, and in all that searching, you talked yourself out of what I already told you. Last month, I opened a door for you. It wasn't the door you were expecting. It didn't look impressive. It didn't come with guarantees or fanfare. It was just an opportunity, simple and unassuming. And you walked right past it because it didn't match the picture you had painted in your mind of what your breakthrough should look like. You were so busy looking for the grand entrance that you missed the narrow gate I opened specifically for you. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you hear my voice forever. This isn't just another message. This is the clarity you've been desperate for. I've been watching you struggle with a decision, the one that keeps you awake at night, the one you keep praying about but never seem to get peace about. You think you're waiting on me, but the truth is, I'm waiting on you. I already answered. I already showed you. I already gave you the wisdom you needed. But because it requires you to trust me in an area where you've been hurt before, you keep asking me to give you a different answer. You want me to make it easy. You want me to remove all risk. You want me to give you a guaranteed outcome before you take the first step. But that's not faith. That's not trust. That's you wanting to stay in control while appearing to surrender. And as long as you hold on to that need for certainty, you'll keep missing the guidance I'm giving you. There's something else you need to understand. Every time you ignore my guidance, you're not just delaying your progress. You're reinforcing a pattern of disobedience that's going to become harder to break. Each time you hear my voice and choose to dismiss it, you're training yourself to doubt me. Each time I direct you and you go your own way instead. You're building walls between us that make it harder for you to hear me the next time. Do you remember when you were younger and your faith was simpler? You prayed and believed. You asked and trusted. You heard and obeyed. Somewhere along the way, you got sophisticated. You started analyzing everything. You began requiring explanations for every instruction. You developed a need to understand the full plan before taking the first step. And in gaining all that worldly wisdom, you lost the childlike trust that allowed you to move with me effortlessly. I'm not asking you to abandon wisdom. I'm asking you to stop using wisdom as an excuse for disobedience. There's a difference between being wise and being calculating. There's a difference between being discerning and being paralyzed by overthinking. There's a difference between waiting on me and waiting for your fear to subside enough that obedience doesn't cost you anything. The guidance I'm giving you right now, in this moment, isn't complicated. You already know what it is. It's that thing you keep pushing to the back of your mind. It's that conversation you keep avoiding. It's that step you keep postponing. It's that change you keep delaying. It's that surrender you keep negotiating. You know exactly what I'm talking about, because it just came to your mind when I mentioned it. And here's what you need to know. The reason it feels so heavy, the reason it seems so hard, the reason you keep resisting it, isn't because it's the wrong direction. It's because it's the right one. The enemy doesn't fight you over wrong paths. He doesn't waste energy keeping you in places that destroy you. He fights you when you're about to step into something that aligns you with my purpose. He resists you when you're on the verge of a breakthrough that will elevate not just you, but everyone connected to you. That resistance you're feeling isn't a sign that you're going the wrong way. It's confirmation that you're heading in the exact direction that will set you free. The very thing that feels most impossible right now is the doorway to everything you've been praying for. But it requires you to trust me more than your feelings. It requires you to obey me more than your logic. It requires you to follow me even when the path doesn't make sense yet. I know you're tired. I know you've been disappointed before. I know you've stepped out in faith and it didn't work out the way you thought it would. I know you've trusted before and got hurt. I know you've obeyed before and it looked like obedience cost you something valuable. But what you don't know is what I saved you from. What you can't see is the disaster I prevented. What you don't understand is that every closed door you're still grieving was my protection, not my punishment. You've been carrying bitterness about things I didn't allow, when you should be grateful I loved you enough to tell you no. You've been angry about prayers I didn't answer the way you wanted, when you should be worshiping me for answering them the way you needed. You've been questioning my faithfulness because I didn't give you what you demanded, when you should be thanking me for giving you what would actually sustain you. Your perspective has been limited to what you can see, and what you can see is only a fraction of what I'm doing. You're judging my guidance based on immediate outcomes when I'm orchestrating circumstances for your long-term victory. You're measuring my faithfulness by temporary discomfort when I'm positioning you for permanent breakthrough. You're doubting my love because the process is painful when the pain is actually the proof that I care too much about you to leave you where you are. The guidance I'm giving you isn't just about one decision. It's about learning to recognize my voice so clearly that you can navigate every season of your life with confidence. It's about developing such trust in my character that when I tell you to move, you move without needing to understand everything first. It's about maturing past the place where you need feelings and signs and confirmations, and stepping into the place where my word is enough. I'm taking you somewhere you've never been, and you can't get there using old methods. You can't walk into your new season with old patterns of doubt. You can't step into your purpose while still holding on to the need to control outcomes. You can't receive what I have for you while your hands are still gripping what I've already told you to release. The guidance is clear. You're the one making it complicated. The direction is simple. You're the one adding conditions. The path is lit. You're the one refusing to take the first step because you can't see the entire journey from where you're standing. Here's what's going to happen if you keep ignoring what I'm showing you. The opportunity will pass, not because I'm punishing you, but because timing matters. The door will close, not because I'm withholding from you, but because seasons shift. The clarity you have right now will fade, not because I'm removing my guidance, but because clarity that isn't acted on eventually becomes confusion. You're in a window right now that won't stay open forever. There are moments in life when heaven intersects with earth in such a way that what seems impossible becomes possible. What seems closed becomes open. What seems dead becomes alive. You're in one of those moments, and the guidance I'm giving you is specifically designed for this exact window of time. Miss this window, and you'll eventually get another chance, but it won't be the same. The path will be harder. The journey will be longer. The lesson will cost more. I'm trying to give you the shortcut, but you keep choosing the long way around because the shortcut requires trust you're not sure you have. Let me tell you what I see when I look at you. I see someone who's stronger than they think they are. I see someone who's been through battles that should have destroyed them but didn't. I see someone who's survived nights that felt endless. I see someone who's held on when letting go would have been easier. I see a warrior, not a victim. I see an overcomer, not a casualty. I see my child, not an orphan. And because I see all of that, I know you can handle what I'm asking you to do. I wouldn't give you guidance you weren't equipped to follow. I wouldn't direct you towards something you weren't ready for. I wouldn't open a door you weren't prepared to walk through. The very fact that I'm speaking this to you right now is proof that you have everything you need to obey. You're not lacking courage. You're lacking trust. You're not lacking ability. You're lacking faith. You're not lacking resources. You're lacking the willingness to step out before you can see where your foot will land. And that willingness is the only thing standing between where you are and where I'm taking you. The guidance I'm giving you will require you to look foolish to some people. It will require you to disappoint people who have expectations of you that don't align with my will. It will require you to make choices that won't make sense to anyone who isn't hearing what I'm telling you. It will require you to move when others think you should wait, and wait when others think you should move. It will require you to be okay with being misunderstood by everyone except me. Are you willing to be misunderstood for my sake? Are you willing to look crazy to follow me? Are you willing to lose the approval of people to gain the approval of heaven? Are you willing to risk being wrong in the eyes of the world to be right in the eyes of eternity? Because that's what obedience costs. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you'll keep circling the same mountain, asking me for guidance I've already given, waiting for permission I've already granted, hoping for a sign I've already sent. The enemy wants you to believe that hearing my voice is complicated, mystical, reserved for super spiritual people with special gifts. That's a lie designed to keep you second-guessing yourself every time I speak. My sheep know my voice, not because they're special, but because they're mine. Not because they're perfect, but because they're paying attention. Not because they have some elevated spiritual status, but because they've spent enough time with me to recognize when I'm speaking. You know my voice. You've just been afraid to trust it. You know my guidance. You've just been afraid to follow it. You know what I'm asking. You've just been afraid of what obedience will cost. But let me ask you this. What is staying where you are costing you? What is disobedience stealing from you? What is delay taking from your future? Every day you ignore. My guidance is a day you stay stuck in a place I've already delivered you from. Every week you dismiss. My direction is a week you remain in a season I've already closed. Every month you refuse to move when I say move is a month you lose, that you can never get back. Time is the one resource I don't replenish. You can recover from financial loss. You can heal from relational wounds. You can bounce back from failures. But you cannot reclaim lost time. I'm not trying to pressure you. I'm trying to wake you up to what's at stake. This isn't about me needing you to obey for my sake. I'm complete without your obedience. This is about you needing to obey for your sake. I'm trying to get you where you've been begging me to take you, but you won't move when I tell you how to get there. The guidance is simple. Trust me more than your fear. Trust me more than your past. Trust me more than your pain. Trust me more than other people's opinions. Trust me more than your own understanding. Trust me enough to take the next step without seeing the entire staircase. Trust me enough to obey even when it doesn't make sense yet. That's it. That's the guidance. Everything else is detail. Every specific direction I give you falls under that umbrella. And until you settle that foundational issue of trust, you'll keep struggling with every individual instruction I give. I'm not asking for blind obedience. I'm asking for trust built on a relationship. I'm not demanding mindless compliance. I'm inviting you into a partnership where you know my character well enough to follow my leading, even when you don't understand my methods. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to guide you into the fullness of everything I created you for. You're standing at a crossroads right now. One path is familiar. It's the path of hesitation, analysis, waiting for perfect clarity before moving, requiring feelings to align before obeying. It's comfortable because it's known, but it's also the path that keeps you exactly where you've been, wondering why your prayers aren't being answered when the answer requires your participation. The other path is the one I'm showing you. It's less familiar because it requires trust you haven't had to exercise before. It's uncomfortable because it demands faith, not certainty. It's scary because it involves risk. But it's also the path that leads to breakthrough, transformation, purpose, and everything you've been asking me for. Which path will you choose? Because choose you must. Staying where you are is also a choice. Doing nothing is also a decision. Waiting indefinitely is also an answer, just not the one that leads where you want to go. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to manipulate you. I'm not going to guilt you into obedience. I'm simply going to keep speaking, keep guiding, keep directing, and keep waiting for you to trust me enough to follow. The question is, how long will you keep me waiting? How many more circles will you walk before you're ready to cross into your promise? How much more time will you lose before you realize that the guidance I'm giving you is the answer to the prayer you keep praying? This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when everything feels right. Now. while you're reading these words, while you're feeling that stirring in your spirit, while you're aware of what I've been showing you. This is your moment to decide that you're done ignoring my guidance. You're done doubting my voice. You're done waiting for perfect conditions before you obey. I'm releasing you into everything I have for you, but you have to walk through the door I'm opening. You have to take the path I'm lighting. You have to follow the guidance I'm giving. I've done my part. Now it's time for you to do yours. Don't ignore this. Don't dismiss this. Don't file this away as just another inspirational message that made you feel something for a moment, but changed nothing about how you actually live. Let this be the moment everything shifts. Let this be the day you stop running from my guidance and start running toward it. Let this be the turning point where you finally trust me enough to obey me completely. The guidance is here. The direction is clear. The path is lit. All that's left is for you to take the first step. And once you do, you'll discover that I've been preparing the way long before you had the courage to walk it. You'll find that what seemed impossible becomes possible when you move with me instead of against me. You'll realize that the very thing you feared would destroy you is actually the thing that will deliver you. Stop ignoring the guidance I'm giving you. Your breakthrough is on the other side of your obedience. Your destiny is waiting for your decision. Your future is calling for your faith. This is your moment. Don't waste it.